Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are new. Hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials every Thursday and Sunday at 8:15 a.m. Central Time. I'm so excited to be doing my nails again. I had done a shorter set on myself and I think I was really ready to do long nails again. I am starting off by prepping my nails. I did soak off my nails to previously recording this video, therefore I didn't show me buffing the shine off, but I did take my sanding band and a Mandrel bit and just buffed the surface lightly, and now I'm taking my needle bit and filing around the cuticle, just gently removing any leftover dead skin from the buffing part. I'm taking my cuticle ball bit and my Kiara Sky e-file. For all of my prepping, I keep my e-file at 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs. I feel like this is the perfect speed. It is not strong enough to hurt yourself or the client, so it is my go-to. I'm just going gently around my cuticle area, around that skin, to remove any excess dead skin and any little hang nails that I might have. This takes the place of a cuticle nipper, and I absolutely love it because it just gently buffs away that skin without having to do any excessive cutting. Now, if you did watch my last video that I previously uploaded on my channel, you will notice that I got new goodies from Not Polish, and I am so excited to be trying these extra long C-curve tips on myself. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to change my nails so I can try these out. They are the perfect faux sculpted nail tips, so definitely recommend them if you guys like sculpting nails. So I went ahead and just filed it a little bit to fit my natural nail perfectly. And then I took some Young Nails brush on glue and applied some to the very end of that tip. And I'm just applying it to the very tip of my natural nail. You just want this to work as your extension and not fully cover your natural nail. So that's why I only place it right at the edge. And these tips are so long. I contemplated leaving them the length, and the more I looked at them, I was like, I like my long nails, but this is a little too excessive. So you will see me cutting them afterwards. Now, if I notice that I have any little air bubbles or any little spaces where I didn't get enough glue on, I do go lightly around that smile line and just place a little bit of glue just to make sure everything is nice and adhered onto my nail. And I went ahead and just did it on the rest of the nails just to be safe. Once all my tips are nice and adhered, I am taking my nail tip cutters and I'm going to be cutting these down. For these specific tips, I definitely recommend a nail tip cutter. A lot of the time I'll use scissors or just some nail clippers. However, because these are so curved, you want to use the nail tip cutters as it will curve perfectly to that curve and you won't get any crazy indentations or splits on that tip whenever you cut it. So I'm going ahead and obviously I cut my thumb down a little bit shorter than the rest of the nails because it helps me do day-to-day stuff. And then I do the rest of my nails pretty freaking long. As you guys can see, I did cut a good chunk of it, but they're still so long. I don't know, maybe one day I'll leave them the full length and I won't cut them. My husband will probably think I'm crazy, but that's fine. So I'm taking my Mandrel bit once again and my e-file, and this time I have it at about 6,000 to 7,000 RPMs. And I'm just buffing that tip, making sure that it's nice and flush to the natural nail. I prefer there to be no ridges. It just helps with the tip to adhere better anyways. So I'm just making sure that I'm blending the two together. No, I do not file the rest of the tip because it really isn't necessary. That's all preference. The acrylic is going to adhere perfectly to that tip regardless. So if you are wondering why I do not file the rest of the tip, that is why. Now, one thing I do recommend all the time is no matter how perfect that shape is on the tip, always go in and file it lightly because then it can always become a little too bulky. So as you can see, I'm just filing the sides, specifically making sure that they are nice and flush to my natural nail while trying to get the shape that I specifically want. So I'm going in on the sides and then on the tip, just squaring it out so that at the end, I don't have to do too much filing. For this step, I am using my peel and stick file from Tammy Taylor. They are linked in my Amazon storefront if you guys are interested in purchasing these files. They are 100 grit and I absolutely recommend them 100%. They are my favorite go-to files. Again, just going on the sides, making sure everything is nice and straight. And then lightly filing the tip, making sure that it is super straight. I'm going to be trying the XXX Bond from Not Polish. It is an acid-free primer. I did receive this in the mail recently, so I wanted to give it a go. I'm making sure that I'm cleaning the surface of my nail, removing any dust, and dehydrating my nail perfectly so that the acrylic adheres properly. I love Swipe from Young Nails. Definitely recommend it as a dehydrator and a cleanser. So I'm just going in and applying a coat of that onto my natural nail. I always do 2 coats no matter what primer I am trying, so this is going to be based off of 2 coats of this primer, and I lightly go in with the first coat just on my natural nail. That is the only area you need to apply your primer to, and then once I'm done applying it on all 5 fingers, I go back in and add the second coat. If I'm doing both hands at the same time or if I'm working on a client, I go ahead and do all 10 fingers, and then I go back in with the second coat on all 10 fingers again. Once I'm all done prepping the nail, I am going in with my acrylic application. For today's video, I am using the Not Polish acrylic brush in the size 12. This has been my go-to lately. I think I already got used to the bigger size brushes versus before all I used was an 8 and a 10. So if you are scared to try a bigger size, do not get scared. Trust me, it's gonna be fine. It honestly speeds up your process and you're gonna get used to it very, very quickly. Along with that, I'm also using the monomer from Not Polish. As mentioned in my previous video, I did recently receive that and I wanted to go ahead and continue to use it to see how much I liked it. And so far so good. Also, as mentioned in my last video, I think it makes the Not Polish acrylic so much more buttery and just so creamy, so blendable. So definitely if you are using the Not Polish acrylics, I definitely recommend you guys try their monomer as well. Very, very low odor in comparison to a lot of other monomers that I've used. So definitely recommend it in that aspect as well. So I'm going ahead and starting my acrylic application. For today's video, I'm using Nude Me from Not Polish. I wanted to give a different nude a try on my own nails, as I normally go for First Nude from Not Polish, which I definitely recommend if you have similar skin tone to mine. It goes so well. But this one is a little bit warmer toned, I want to say, and I definitely like it as well. So this is going to be one of my favorites so far. Once I've applied that bead to the cuticle area, I'm taking this chunky red heart glitter, and I'm just taking one single heart and applying it right in the center up near the cuticle area. And then I'm using the back of my brush to firmly press it into that still wet acrylic powder. I want to make sure that I can firmly press it in so that when I go to encapsulate, none of the little sides are sticking out and I don't ruin it when I file. So make sure that it is still wet. I'm going in with a medium-sized bead of acrylic on my index finger, applying it in the middle section. And then I lightly start working from side to side, making sure that the sides are nice and clean while patting it into place and dragging it down towards the tip. Because these nails are long, I like to work with bigger sized beads just to speed up the process a little bit. But remember to always use very light pressure, specifically when using not polished powders, because they are so blendable and they self-level very well on their own. So you don't have to move them a ton. I feel like that's where a lot of nail techs go wrong. You overthink it, therefore you overwork it. And at the end of the day, you're making more work for yourself because you really don't have to do too much to this powder. Third bead of acrylic goes in that middle section, typically where your apex goes. And I'm just blending it down to the existing acrylic, making sure that I'm continuously wiping the sides so that the nail does not become super bulky. Again, still building up that apex a little bit. I do keep my nails specifically on the thinner side just because I change them so often and I don't want to have to do too much filing when I change them. And I don't have to worry about them breaking either. Specifically with C-curve tips, they are known to hold their shape and they're a lot sturdier, so keep that in mind as well. Last bead goes in the cuticle area. I am trying to work very quickly because I am going to be adding that little heart. Try to get it as straight as possible, and as you can see, the acrylic is still really wet and you can kind of see it get cushioned a little bit in there, and that's exactly what you want. Now my pinky nail, if you guys are familiar with me doing my own nails, is always my problem nail. So I'm taking my soak off bowls that I used to soak off my nails. Because I had them laying right there, I just went ahead and used that, and I am resting my nail on that just to give myself a little bit more of a sturdy surface to work on. And then I start applying my acrylic. I feel like this is the easiest way for me to apply it while I rest it on something. So if you are struggling with your pinky, I do recommend that. Even with filing, rest your finger on some surface and it will help a ton. Once I'm done applying my nude base and the hearts, I am going ahead and encapsulating. I am focusing a ton on that cuticle area because I do not want it to be super thin to where I file through that heart. That would be so tragic because it's just one heart and it's red. You definitely do not want to ruin it. So I focus a ton on that cuticle area and then I go ahead and encapsulate that rest of the nail, adding thickness wherever I feel it needs a little bit more thickness. And I'm just using my not polished clear acrylic for this step. Once everything is nice and dry, I'm taking my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file once again and filing the sides. And because I have gotten so used to using my hand file to file the surface of the nail, I'm gonna go ahead and do that on my own nails as well. I find it easier regardless on my own nails. So definitely recommend using a hand file if you are not comfortable with an e-file. You can still get it done quickly. For example, I like to use my hand file vertically up and down. As you can see, it files a lot of the nail in one go and you don't have to spend a ton of time filing it as if you were to do it horizontally. So just a quick little tip. And I do leave the top part where the cuticle is at. I do not file that as I like to go in with my e-file as shown right here. I'm using my 5-in-1 bit from Kiara Sky and I'm just filing around that cuticle area. I feel like I get a nicer cuticle area with my e-file, if that makes sense. And it's just a lot easier in my opinion to go around that area with an e-file just because the hand file is a lot bigger and you can nick yourself, so that's not fun. I'm gonna go ahead and file the sides once again, making sure that everything is nice and squared, and then I'm going in and filing the surface of the nail. Once again, I'm going around the cuticle area with my 5-in-1 bit from Kiara Sky. For this step, I use my e-file at about 8 to 9,000 RPMs. It's the comfortable speed that I like working with, specifically around the cuticle area. Definitely recommend these bits. They are a must. In comparison to other 5-in-1 bits that I've used from Amazon and from other companies, these are my favorite. I'm not quite sure what is the difference, but these are my favorite and I love them the most. So just a little insider from my opinions. And I'm just going around that cuticle area, making sure that the acrylic is nice and flush. You want that acrylic to be flush to the natural nail so that it's not super bulky and it does not snag, which leads to lifting. Once I'm done with the cuticle area, I move to the tip of the nail, making sure that I'm scoring it off with my peel and stick file. And I just go back and forth until I see that it is nice and straight. I'm going in with my buffer from Profiles Backstage. It is super fine and it makes it super smooth. So I definitely use a really good amount of pressure while doing this step, as I want to make sure that it gets all of the little ridges or anything left behind from the hand file or the e-file. Now in preparation for our nail art, I am prepping my nail by cleaning the surface of the nail, making sure that there is no dust. I'm using a lint-free wipe and some swipe. Both are linked in my Amazon storefront. I love this for cleaning the nail and prepping the natural nail. Once I'm done, I'm taking my red gel paint from Profiles Backstage and my nail art brush from Amazon, and I'm just drawing 3 dots, one right in the middle at the tip and 2 on the sides, typically where the natural nail meets the tip. And then I'm going to be doing like a V-cut design. So I start off by doing one side and then I infill it, and then I do the opposite side. Same concept. I do one line connecting 2 dots together and then I fill out the rest of the side. And I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that on the index finger, middle finger, and pinky, doing the 3 dots and then connecting the middle dot to one side and then the other side and then filling it in. Do this very carefully and you will love this technique. I used to do it with acrylic all the time, but changing that type of design out and doing it is really hard, specifically for beginners. So if you get down to where you can just draw it, changing out that design and doing it is going to be a lot easier for you. I find this so much easier now that I started using gel paint a lot more, so definitely recommend it. Specifically the Profiles Backstage gel paint, I absolutely love. It's super pigmented, which makes so easy to use since you don't have to layer on a ton of product, and it's the perfect consistency to draw, so definitely recommend it. Like mentioned earlier, I'm using something to rest my pinky on. Like I said, it just makes everything so much easier if you rest it on there because you don't have anything else to help support that pinky nail. Definitely use something that will help. This little container, I think I got it at like TJ Maxx, and I use it for my bulk sanding bands. I just throw them in there and it just makes it easier. So I just grabbed that and used it, and I felt like it was the perfect size for filming, so it worked out perfectly. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish doing that design and filling it in. And then I think I got a cramp, so I had to turn my hand around the other way. And don't forget to cure this in the light, specifically because it is gel paint. I go ahead and place it in there for 1 minute. Now I'm going in with Matte It from Not Polish. I am going to be top coating my nails before I go on to the next step because I am going to be doing a little accent nail on my ring finger. I want it to make sure that it is nice and prepped. So I'm going ahead and adding a thin layer of that onto all of my nails, making sure that I'm getting everything nice and smooth. And then I'm going to be placing that in the light for a full minute. Sometimes I do 2 minutes just to be safe, but because I am going to be placing it in the light one more time, I'm not too worried about it at this point. Now that we are out of the light and they are nice and matte, I am going to be doing lips on the ring finger. I did not know what route I wanted to go with it, so I just started drawing the lips. I start off with the bottom lip, just doing a slightly curved line and then making it kind of like a crescent moon. And then I'm going to be doing the top lip, kind of try to make it look as good as possible. I had to kind of picture it in my mind because I didn't pull up a picture of lips at all. I kind of just went based off of what I remember they kind of look like, specifically when you draw them, because obviously natural lips are different, so keep that in mind. And then I started drawing them down towards the tip, kind of just staggering them a little bit, same shape, same design throughout the nail. Still using my nail art brush from Amazon. This is my go-to. I love it. I feel like it's the perfect thickness and the perfect shape and just perfect all around. So if you can get your hands on it, definitely recommend it. But I'm just gonna go ahead and finish drawing these throughout the nail. And I kind of just went based off of the space that I had and continued to draw them down towards the tip. So I originally wanted to do red glitter sugared over top of this, but I did not have a vibrant red and I didn't want it to clash. So instead I decided to use this iridescent glitter from Not Polish. This is their sugaring glitter and I just sprinkled it on there because I didn't want it to be overbearing, but I still wanted it to have a little bit of shine to it. And then I accidentally dumped a whole bunch on it and it was fine. I went ahead and placed it in the light for a minute. That basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching and I will catch you guys next time.